the liner there? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll call to order the special meeting.
It's an emergency meeting.
Trustees,
It's an emergency meeting.
emergency meeting, August 3rd, 2024. Need a roll call.
At 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker? Yes. Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Okay, this has to do with the walking trail, and I'll turn this over to Jeff.
Okay, good morning, everybody. The reason why we're here on a Saturday morning is to catch up on some invoices that were forwarded to us over the last 2 months that still require payment. And the contractor is more than 80% complete, so based on the 2 invoices that we have, there will still be a balance remaining after we authorize the checks for this morning. So just going back to last week, we had a meeting where we had the principals involved on the construction, the blacktopping people, and the which is Bear Blacktopping local down in this local area, and Alpha Construction, which is local as well in this community. And also, in addition to that, we had the owner of RVP Engineering, Rob Painter, who came and was the initial designer of the construction documents. So the purpose of all that was to assure that what we were having installed was exact or very close as possible to the original drawings. And I hope everybody, I know a lot of the people here this morning were in that meeting. So if there were some questions that might have been raised or answered, I think it was pretty well discussed as each of those representatives came up and discussed a little bit about their part of the project. So what was promised to us was that, well, actually we had requested was when the project was near a completion point, that RVP Engineering, i.e. Rob Painter, would come back out and observe the construction to see what was done and to assure us that it was done in compliance with the original construction drawing. So he completed that report from the meeting that we had last week. He went out onto the trail, went across the trail, took in all the comments that we had from the meeting, went out and looked at the trail. I know there were some comments about, at one portion of the trail was 9.5 feet wide. Other areas were 10.5 feet wide. And those 10.5 feet wide sections were on curves or turns, which were worked in the favor of somebody that might be handicapped or in a wheelchair, or strollers or bikes that might need a little more room to make that turn. But we left it up to Mr. Painter to do an overall assessment to assure that what he had designed was going to be appropriate and acceptable for the township. So based on that, he submitted a report to us that came in late last night, and we want to present that today as a deliverable that we committed to for the township project. And we wanted to make sure that was presented and put out into the public before we put the payment against the 2 invoices that are currently outstanding. So I hope that all makes sense, why we're doing that, how we're doing that, and when we're doing that. So with that, let me go ahead and I will read the RVP report into the record. And as I had mentioned, RVP owner is, and I just hit his credentials real quick. RVP owner is Rob Painter. He's a professional, PE rated, professional engineer, registered with the state of Ohio and owner of the RVP engineering firm. So he drafted this letter to us and myself, and it reads as follows. To the Morgan Township trustees, attention Jeff Kolb. Regarding the Morgan Township Community Park Trail Site Observation Report at 3141 Chapel Road, Okeana, Ohio. Dear Jeff, at your request, I visited the site on 7/29/24 to observe the conditions of the site and comment on the constructed site's general conformance with the contract documents prepared by RVP Engineering and dated 3/18/24. In general, the observable site is in general conformance with the plans and specifications except as noted below. Number one, while the asphalt is fully installed and appears in general conformance with the plans and specifications, there are still stockpiles of dirt around the site that need to be removed. In addition, the final grade at the shoulders of the paved path is not yet established. Number two, there were an extra drain pipe installed under the path at the northern tree line crossing. I don't see a problem with this installation, but it was not included in the contract documents. Number three, the 36-inch pipe installation had several issues. That's the big pipe that crosses the furthest to the west, and it's very close to Cincinnati Brookville Road, just for orientation. Okay, the 36-inch pipe installation had several issues. Number one, there were no head walls installed on either side of the pipe. And that was a decision we took based on what that would cost us to do and expertise that we had in-house to be able to resolve that requirement. The report continues, this will allow for water to migrate around the pipe during rain events, increasing the chances of a washout of the pipe and path. His recommendation is a head wall be installed on both ends. And that's obviously under consideration, no matter, and at some point in time, whatever that will take, whenever we can do that, if we can ever afford to do that. Okay, the next one, the upstream end of the pipe was pinched. I believe some stone or rock hit it while we were putting the large boulders around the inlet side. I recommend the pipe should be repaired to its circular shape, which we concur. Next, the contract document called for the removal of trees on both sides of the 36-inch culvert. Statement is the 3 existing trees on the outlet side of the pipe should be removed. Secondly, 1 or 2 of the trees near the inlet of the culvert should be removed. And we'll be looking at that to see if that is going to be necessary, or we want to keep that as and establish as much woodland area as we possibly can. Okay, number 4, the pavement striping is not yet done. The playground entrance and helipad access should be accounted for and the contract documents revised. And I know we are having the contract documents revised to include the playground, and I don't think we have any reason to believe there's a problem with accommodating the helipad. I don't know if it might be in the contract construction documents, but if it's not, we may consider putting that in there just for historical preference. So we always have that. He continues that the striping, including ADA accessible stripings, can then be added, which we intend to do as soon as the weather cooperates and we get a good in-house drawing of ADA parking spots and how they need to be oriented. Number 5, the asphalt slopes appear to be in general conformance with the contract documents. And I think what he's talking about there are the upper loop is ADA compliant, which was designed with a specific slope grade in mind, And then the balance of the trail was not going to be ADA compliant, but he's confirming that assumption on the drawings. Okay, number 6. This concerned a comment that was brought up at the last meeting, so he wanted to make sure he and we addressed it as well. Number 6 was that there was a comment from the public about gravel poking up from the bottom, which was meant to thought, which was when that was brought up was, well, how thick is the blacktop? So when he looked at that, I'll read the comment again. There was a comment from the public about gravel poking up from the bottom of the asphalt paving. He states that I saw no evidence of that. I did see where a few aggregate pieces were compacted into the top of the path. Perhaps those pieces fell into the path of the asphalt roller compactor and were pressed into the asphalt. And finally, his statement, in my opinion, this is strictly an aesthetic issue, and I don't recommend any actions. So, based on that, signed Robert Painter, President, RVP Engineering, LLC. So, what I'd like to bring out right now is, based on this letter, based on his professional opinion, I think we're in accordance with the trail when completed, the things that he mentioned notwithstanding, the edging, we need to look at the erosion, make sure the erosion is under control, we can mitigate that. If there's tree issue to be considered, removed, and obviously the painting, the lines, the ADA compliant, there's a couple things involving some additional work and planning for the playground to be put into place and to be integrated into the path seamlessly. So based on those outstanding conditions that we need to comply with, I believe it's the board's opinion that the trail as it stands right now meets the construction documents as designed and meets the needs of our community and all the residents that will very shortly be walking the trail. So based on that, I'd like to open it up to comments from the board. We haven't had this report for very long, so we're just kind of digging through it, making sure there's no issues that we see, nothing that we need to turn over, investigate further. So I'll just leave it open right now for comments from the board.
The only, one of the issues I think we need to purposely, visually go down and check out, I don't know what trees they're talking about, do you?
Yeah, I think there's some, I don't know if they're hackberry or oak, but on both ends of on the pipe on the far west side.
Are they big trees?
Yeah, they're probably 6-8 inches. Significant. You know, when I was down there, it didn't look like those trees were very close. I mean, we put stone out from that pipe, probably 20 feet, yeah. And then there's probably another 20 feet before those trees are, because I know when Justin did the grading down there, were you down there, Jason, when Justin took those trees out? No. I know he cleared a bunch of them out, so we'll have to look at that.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that we can do right now without studying it and getting Rob's opinion, Rob Brem's opinion on what's going on down there.
Yeah. And the bent pipe, that's easy to fix, or just bend
right.
That.
I think it's just got a slight deflection in the top piece of it. I mean, those stones that we put in there probably weighed 200-300 pounds when they each one. So when it hit that plastic pipe, it took some damage.
It's actually not the pipe that's damaged, it's the collar, and the collar's actually supposed to fell off.
Okay.
So
I don't know if we can.
I was talking to the Rob about it.
Yeah.
And he said he was just going to cut it off.
Okay. You know, I know
That's that collar where you connect one pipe to the next, and if you don't connect it, you just cut it off.
Yeah.
It's just a flat.
I I know sometimes we put a, that funnel, diverter, and that's probably, if Mr. Painter has a concern with erosion, then that would probably be a logical first step to, that would probably be industry standard. Anytime we put a culvert in under any roads, we usually put a diverter in just to funnel water. But we have to pull those, you know, remove those rocks, which are not gonna be an issue. No. Okay.
You see anything, Tom?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well then based
And
on
we,
that,
when we, I'll add a little bit,
Okay.
when we talked about the LZ, the landing zone for the helicopter and the playground, we laid that all out yesterday, and we're in the process of it. We've got the CAD drawings, I've got the CAD drawings yesterday and forwarded them on to Rob Painter. You've got them, correct? We're trying to get the actual layout of the playground. Playground is actually bigger than what we, it's gonna be like 25 feet from the north entrance to the path, 25 feet south of that, and it's gonna be within 50 feet of the landing zone. So we may move the landing zone down a little bit further, but we don't wanna go too close to Cincinnati Brookville because there's poles and wires and things like that, but we'll get it in there, it'll fit, but the footprint is, I think it shocked a lot of us that how big it was once we wheeled it all out. So before we start moving any earth and getting that surface ready for the playground, we want to make sure that RVP can fit it in there and make it look right and not jeopardize the landing zone. We know what the requirements are that. We can't change that. That's fixed. So everything else is a little variable. So we're waiting for that, and then as soon as we do that, we can get in there and you know, get that surface ready, and then you can start moving the dirt around the edges of the walking trail and get that all ready to meet the requirements that Rob pointed out in the letter here. Any questions from the audience? Come on up. Mic's on.
Connie Reinhardt, 6824 Cincinnati Brookville Road. My concern, and a lot of the residents' concern, is about the head wall. Mr. Kolb, you have pretty much just went over the top of that like it wasn't a big concern, but without the head walls, is that going to compromise the path? Is that going to make, you know, we don't have a real secure path to start with? Do we want to undermine it even more by not having the correct head walls in?
if we did the head wall, we couldn't have done this project. We wouldn't have had near the money, because I believe, as I understood from RVP and the contractors that originally looked at it, a head wall was over $100,000 to do a head wall construction. So based on the flow, the water flow, and the pipe that we have in, the large pipe that we have in, and the large boulder for the erosion control, and then the collar, and then we also had talked about, short of a head wall, we could concrete. We could pour concrete, coat that whole side down there, and that would function as a head wall and be acceptable cost-wise to the township, let me address it to you, Jason, on the head wall.
Jeff, put it on mic.
Yeah, Mike? Yeah. Would you mind stepping up? And I think we talked about the head wall and what that would cost. And you might have some more experience about what a head wall actually is and what it takes to put a head wall that size in.
To do a head wall down, well, I don't think you need a head wall there anyway. 'Cause
tap that
Hello?
mic. Okay,
It's on.
talk loudly into that, because we wanna make sure we get your thoughts.
The pipe that we put, that actually you guys put in down there is like 3 feet in diameter, and that pipe is way bigger than what actually you need. I think you could get away with a 12-inch pipe down there, 18-inch pipe. So I don't think there's gonna be any issue. If you put on like what you're talking about, a little diverter, then it's the same as the head wall, pretty
Okay.
much.
I don't know if you've.
Putting the head wall in, you're gonna have to dig a footer down, foundations. It's basically like building a basement.
Right.
Like foundation walls, you get the footers, angled walls.
And that's why it
And
would be
you're
that
probably looking-
expensive?
Yeah, for that one side, you're probably looking at, I'd say $25,000 or more for
Okay.
something that, I don't see the path ever washing away. If it did, you could replace it 15 times. That
Okay.
kind of cost. We also put, another pipe was put in up higher that wasn't even called for in the prints. And, that's letting it go through too. I just don't think you have enough water there.
Okay. That was the pipe, Connie, I think you probably met, when I read the report, that was the pipe that Mr. Painter identified that said it wasn't in the original plans, but when the guys were out there doing it, our Rob said, this would be a great way to keep water from coming across that path. And Jason, I don't know if you introduced yourself, but you probably need to, and to who you are and what you do.
I'm Jason Molnar. I live on Chapel Road here. I own Alpha Construction. We did the construction here on site. But I've been doing this for 27 years in the business, so.
Okay. So it's good to have you here this morning. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any other questions?
Thank you for taking your time. I just want to say,
Yeah, sure.
again, I'm not opposed to the trail. I plan to use it, as soon as it gets opened up. Our concern is just that everything is the way it should be, so that down the road, there's not issues that's gonna cost us more money in the long run than if we had done it correctly. That's all, we're concerned about, just that the trail stays there so that we can use it and we don't have a problem.
Well,
Why are you
exactly-
waiting, Connie?
What?
You said you're gonna plan on using it when it's
I've
open.
already
Why are you
used it.
waiting? I came up the other night and put recycling bins in. There was 9 cars up here.
Yeah.
And heads everywhere on that walking trail, so
I've walked part of it, so, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I'm waiting for the official word that it's okay to do it. I don't wanna, get in anybody's way, so. But it's gonna be well used, Tom, you're right.
Mhm.
There are a lot of us that have just been waiting for the trail to be finished, and it's a welcome addition to the township.
We couldn't agree more. Thanks for your comment.
Something to add to this too, just to let everybody know, I used all local contractors, and like you said, maintenance to the path. Tom Bear has guaranteed that 5 years from, it doesn't come with a warranty, but he guaranteed 5 years from now, anything wrong, he said he'd come up here, donate his time and material and fix it. He made that he talked about that at our last meeting. So that's what we try to do. Everybody that was on that project is here locally, lives in Ross, and they all want to keep that trail up and going.
And I don't know,
And that's from Tom Bear Paving.
yeah, I don't know if everybody knows, but Tom Bear's shop is located just across the river down in Ross, by the old Procter & Gamble plant. So he's no stranger to us and our township up here. And I'm sure he does a lot of work in the area too as well, so.
Does about everything here.
He just did Wurzelbacher's.
Just did most of ours.
Yeah.
But like I said, if any damage, even if you cause it from one of your snow plows or whatever, he said he'd come fix it.
You can't beat that. All right, Jason, I appreciate your thought.
Chris Gaines, 6875 Hamilton Scipio Road. Living in Ross for the last 8 years and being a contractor for 22. I think it means a lot to have local people do local work with you guys, Barrett. But I think as the community and the world we live in today, if there could be something in writing that states that, if something happens, something gets washed out, I think the community would feel a little bit better. Those that don't have a construction background or, are just hearing about this because this was just released today, I think that would go far with the community to feel better that we're spending all this money and we do have a guarantee or some kind of warranty that if something happens.
I don't think we have a guarantee or a warranty. We just got the man's word. He
Well,
said
right,
it.
but-
He said it on public record. It's on YouTube. It's out there.
Right,
And I don't think he's going to go back on his word. Like he said, his business is here
right.
in the community, and he lives here. He plans to use it. His family plans to use it. He's not going to let it deteriorate.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't think we need to go and say, I want you to put this in writing. I mean, he gave us, you know, he said, I'm going to do it.
Right.
And
No, I'm
I
just throwing
believe you.
out-
I
I'm
mean,
just throwing out-
Chris,
and
you've done work for me. I
Right.
mean, if I got a problem, I know, I call you, you're going to come back.
Right.
I don't have it written that Chris Gaines is going to come back for, you know, what happens if it's five years in one day? Is he not going to come back?
Right.
He's not. That's not going to happen. He's going to come back. He said he would. So,
And I think the difference is the amount of the cost of things. So, you know, putting in some doors or
right, I
stuff like that.
understand.
I mean, which granted, my word is my bond, right?
Right.
Like, and hopefully with him as well. I'm just saying that as a community, like, it's just one of those things that could be tossed out. If he's gonna stand behind it, and I know if you called me out on it, was like, hey, we need something in writing. I know you said it on tape and it's on YouTube, but there's a lot of things on YouTube
Right,
that
I
aren't true.
understand. I
So, I
understand.
mean, I'm just, it's throwing it out there. If it were me, I would come in, I would put something in writing like, hey, here it is. You got 5-year warranty. If something gets washed out, something gets ruined, something's too soft, it starts cracking, I'll come out and fix it. So, I mean, that's one thing. The other thing, and I haven't been in this process, just busy with work, busy with kids, soccer, stuff like that. So, hearing some of this stuff and then like the fast pace of the meeting and then the emergency meeting, it feels like things are getting like swept under the rug. Let's hurry up and approve this so we can get out of this. For the engineer's letter, you're going on general conformance. Like it's generally what the plans were supposed to be, but it's not, because why didn't the engineer come out and say, this conforms to the specs of the drawings? Or why are we saying, well, we'll look at cutting down some of the trees when the engineer's saying these trees need to come down? I don't know why they need to come down. I don't have a PE, but he does, and he says they need to come down. Or he's saying the head wall needs to go in. He's not saying if you have the money or it's gonna wash, you don't have the money, it's not gonna wash the trail out. He's saying that if the head wall doesn't go in. In the business, there's things where like, this is stupid, this is overkill, but I don't have the education, I don't have the certificates to say and not do it because I think it's overkill. So like some of these things we're going to the letter, like, yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we're gonna paint the lines, those have to be done, but the head wall, we're not worried about that. But that's coming from the engineer, so just those things, so it's,
While we got you up there, I do have a question for you.
yep.
We're looking at a shelter, looking at to build a shelter, and I know you're in the business, and like Jason was saying, we definitely prefer local guys to be working on this project. So we're dividing or designing up some proposals. So if you have anybody, you or anybody that you know are looking to maybe come in and bid on the job, the word, as the word gets out there, I think we'll, you know, people will be coming forward to be interested in bidding this.
Yeah.
And I don't know what exactly it would cost. We might have to put it out for bid. I think we probably will have to go through competitive bid it. But boy, it'd be great if we could get local guys to do this.
Definitely,
And,
be interesting.
I know you got an artistic flair, so that's really what we're gonna be looking for.
Awesome, yep, would definitely like to look at it.
All right, Chris, thanks for the time.
let me address why we had an emergency meeting. You don't have to stay up here, but we haven't paid them 1 penny yet. And they're not a small company, but they're not a big company, and we owe them pretty much money. And our next meeting isn't until August 12th, so that's holding them up another 2 weeks, basically. So we thought once we get this report, if the report meets, you know, says the work is completed and it's satisfactory, then we need to get these people their money, because they've been here on the job, what, 2 months almost? Not steadily, but you started probably April. So,
And one more thing on top of that. They have a subcontractor that has to be paid.
Right.
Mr. Bear has got a crew and a family, and they have put their time and effort and money into the job too, so, and the invoices are overdue. So that's really why we've taken it to a special meeting to do this on, as Tom mentioned, as quickly as we possibly could.
With that, I mean, just going along the same lines, I've been owed $80,000 for a year. I still don't have it. My work's complete. They're having an argument with the general contractors because of stuff they haven't done. But my work is complete. Their restaurant is open. They use everything that I installed for the last year, and I still haven't gotten paid. I paid my subcontractors, so like, I'm trying to be devil's advocate. I get both sides, but as a community, we wanna make sure that we're getting what we're paying for.
We're men of our word too. When we say we're gonna pay somebody, that when they get their job done, we're gonna pay them.
But it has to be done,
Yeah,
right? It has
right.
to be complete.
Well, obviously, you know, Chris,
Right.
we're paying for the work that's been completed, and the rest of this has been committed, and the balance due is gonna be $30,000 to $40,000 balance due after we make these two payments.
But,
So,
I mean, there should be a draw system where they're coming in and getting
yeah,
some kind of payment.
yeah, absolutely. Everybody does that.
Hey, Chris, you were talking, that when you did the job and when they were using the pieces or things that you installed and so you felt like you should have been paid, but same way with Jason, we really can't, what are we gonna do, wait 5 years to see if we have a problem? You know, you can't do that. The guy, like I
Right, but
said,
if the
people
job-
need their money.
If the job's not completed, the payment.
Well, we're not gonna pay for all of it either.
And I'm not saying you should, like you guys brought up payment, I'm just telling you, there's instances where I'm owed $80,000, I have a lien on the property, which does nothing because it's not the restaurant,
Mhm.
but I'm still out, but I've still paid my subcontractors under me, so I'm out that money because somebody else didn't do their job, and they haven't paid them to pay me, so like, I'm just.
I think we feel for you.
Right,
That's not a good position to be in, no
It's
doubt.
not, but you keep going, you keep working.
Right.
So I just wanted to make sure that, my money, my tax dollars are going for what's supposed to be. And again, I don't know all the ins and outs because I haven't been following through the team. I saw the meeting last week, I was out of town, so I wanted to come today and just I said my piece, and I think if it's done correctly and to where it's gonna hold up, or he's gonna, guarantee this, either in writing or by word, if something happens, nothing's gonna happen, because he's gonna come and fix it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but the head walls in place not even in my contract.
Right, that's what I said, like, and I,
We just help with it.
right, so like,
Not in their contract.
right, I don't know that, but like, Cole's up there reading the engineer's report, and the engineer's saying that head wall needs to be in, so if it's not in your contract, that's an extra.
we did that in-house.
Right. Then we need to get, like, I don't know, the engineer's report said head wall, so it's like, and not even, like, I'm in the field, you get this report out to anybody else, and they say they see no background in construction, and there's no head wall. But the engineer said, with the PE, you read his credentials, says it needs to have a head wall.
Let's make a date, let's come back out in a year and let's take a look at that and see what it looks like. See if we needed a head wall or we didn't need a head wall.
Right. I mean,
We'll watch it. And you guys, I know you show up quite a bit, and this is not gonna go unobserved.
it's not up to me if it needs a
Yeah.
head wall, or you.
Yeah. Well, it kinda is up to us.
Well, yeah,
Not me, but,
You paid an engineer to tell you what's
Yeah.
needed.
okay. Good point, Chris. So let's give you guys back your Saturday morning, and we can move the meeting along. If there's other comments, please, we're open to them.
All right, we gonna adjourn?
Well,
No,
we do the POs.
I'll make a motion to for a resolution to approve a PO and payment to Alpha Construction in the amount of $55,102.50 to pay the invoice for the walking trail and parking lot project number 24002 for the period to May 30th, 2024.
Second.
Ms. Brucker, yes. Mr. Kolb?
Yes?
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
That'll be resolution number 153-2024. I'll make a motion to approve a PO and payment to Alpha Construction in the amount of $147,402.50 to pay for the invoice for the walking trail and park project number 24002 for the period ending July 30th, 2024.
Second?
Mr. Brucker, yes. Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Motion carried, and that will be resolution number 154-2024. Anything else?
No? I think we're good.
Okay, I have a motion to adjourn?
Second? Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker, yes. Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
We are adjourned at 10:35 a.m.